Good morning. My name's Jeff. I'm here with Monique. We're in Gail's van doing some work. Started yesterday thinking I was going to run a wire from the equipment closet at the back of the van up to the underside of the driver's seat for the DC to DC charging. And your plans never quite go the way you think they're going to go. I got halfway done and I realized I've got to figure out, make sure that the shower base and the toilet are going to fit if I'm going to run the wire along the bottom. Otherwise I got to run up and over and down, and it's a pretty expensive wire, so I was trying to do it along the bottom to save some wire. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the toilet and what our setup, how our setup's going to work, and then I'll talk to you specifically about what we ended up doing most of the day yesterday. So this is a cassette toilet. The way it works is it has a integrated water tank at the top. It has a holding tank at the bottom. It's got a pump built inside, so when you flush, you can push this button and water will pump out of the holding tank into the bowl, and you move this lever to flush the stuff, so it goes from the bowl into the holding tank. When the holding tank is full or you want to empty it, there'll be a door on the front wall here, and you'll just pull this out. It's got a handle, it's got wheels, and you can just take it to wherever you're going to dump it. We purchased a Thetford 32812, and that is a left-hand opening toilet. In our current configuration, what we should have ordered was a 32811, which would have the opening on this side. So at first glance, it looks like it's easily convertible. If you look on this side, you see the fill tube, the water reservoir indicator, and on this side, there's a spot for the fill tube, and there's a connection here where the water fill tube would go. So you'd think that it would be really simple to change. I looked on the internet and there was no instructions, there was no videos, there's nothing that showed you how to change from a 32811 or 12 to an 11. So I'll show you what I had to do. There's 5 steps. So there's 5 steps that you have to go through to change this from a left hand to a right hand, or from a right hand to a left hand. The first thing is fairly easy. The tank, pull the holding tank out like that, and you'll see on the inside there's a stopper way in the back here. So for this to come in from the other side, this stopper would have to change sides. So that's actually pretty easy. These bottom plates just pop out very easily, and you just pop them back in the opposite orientation. So this holding tank has a little flapper on the top, and when you're emptying it, the flapper's in this position, but when it's in use, the flapper's in this position. So there's a little gate that flips down on the top and grabs this little door. So you actually have to change sides for it, and it's inside, if I can reach in through here, right here. So in our orientation, it's on this side. If you're switching orientations, it's on this side. It's just held in by 3 little posts, and if you're very careful prying it out, you can slowly pry it out and get those posts out. I actually broke one when I pulled mine out, but it still was able to snap back in. I'm not going to pull it out to switch sides again, because some of these plastic pieces might not last more than one time being pulled out. To flush the toilet, this little flapper moves back and forth, and there's a mechanism in there, and what's actually happening is it's turning this green valve. So when this is in the open position, when the tank is pushed in, this little valve flips back and forth, this handle flips this and opens up the tank. So when you switch sides, if this was all of a sudden coming in from this side, this green open mechanism isn't going to line up with the back of the tank. So this has to be turned 180 degrees so that it lines back up on the correct side. So to do that, It took some thinking. I didn't know how, if this was glued in or what was holding it in place, but as it turns out, it's just a bayonet mount. So you can turn this thing, it helps to have this in. You turn it counterclockwise, about a quarter of a turn, less than a quarter of a turn, and this whole thing pulls out. And that pulls out for maintenance. And so if you're needing to change ends, you'll put this in this way and you'll lock it in place. I'm going to put it back the way it is for our use, so I don't have to take it out again. Last step is we have to move the fill valve and the sight tube over to the other side. The sight tube comes off really easily. It's held in by a little retainer here. You just pull it down. This comes right off. You have to pull this plug out and pull this off the base, but they are both just friction fits, and they switch over to the other side. On the other side, there's a cap up here and a plug down here that you have to switch to the other side. To get rid of the little plug at the bottom, I just took a pair of needle nose pliers, tweezers, and put it in here and pried it out, and it popped right out. So the last part was this thing, and it took some real time to figure out how that is disconnected. On this end, the plug is just held in by a bayonet mount, quarter turn, if I just flip it around here. A quarter turn and it pops right out. It's got a little gasket on it. So that's easy to switch to the other side. But over here, this isn't held in by a bayonet mount. This is just actually a friction fit. So a little pry bar under here, a little bit of wiggling back and forth, and you can pop that out. I've got a picture I'll show you that what that looks like. Put this all back together again and show you how it ends up. And that's it. We'll see you later.